Today I want to tell you about a pretty pivotal conversation I had about 15 years ago, right after I first started my business. It was with a CEO who slightly resembled Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life. He asked me for my business card, and at the time I had a tagline on it that said, "Extraordinary results, less effort, more joy." It was something I really wanted my business to stand for, something I wanted to achieve in my own life, and that I wanted to help my clients achieve in theirs as well. And he read that tagline and began to shriek with laughter. It wasn't the kind of laughter that you share with somebody who's in on the joke. It was a scalding, cutting kind of cackle that implied you were the joke. And I remember thinking at the time, clearly this man is not my ideal client. He was a shrewd businessman for whom results meant a lot. But the idea of extraordinary results with less effort, in his mind, was preposterous. And joy clearly had no place in business, as far as he was concerned. I remember smiling politely, mustering a few lame words, and removing myself from his presence at the earliest convenience. And though I really believed in the power of that tagline, after that conversation, I began to see it through a different lens. And a couple weeks later, I stopped using it entirely. The problem with that conversation was not with the man I was talking to. It was that the conversation resonated with a Mr. Potter-like voice I had going on in my own head. The voice of my conditioning. It was a voice I had internalized about the way the world works. And if you've been following my work at all, you know that I refer to this voice as the voice of the puppet. It said, "Extraordinary results. Isn't that hyperbole? Is that actually possible? What does that even mean? Less effort? Pfft. Everything requires hard work and lots of effort. Nothing is easy. It's an unavoidable, inescapable fact that you have to pay your dues. Suck it up. More joy? Work isn't supposed to be fun. That's why they call it work." I didn't realize how much of a grip the puppet had on me. The stronger, wiser part of me knew the truth of that tagline, but I wouldn't be able to truly live it until I learned to deactivate the voice of the puppet that had me seeing it the way I was seeing it after that conversation. It was like looking at a picture that has two images in it that you can't see both of at the same time. I wouldn't be able to see the other image until I stopped focusing so intently on the one that was jumping out at me. The voice of that conditioning was strong because I grew up hearing it. It was a voice that compelled me to work harder and faster when what I really needed to do was slow down and take a break. It was the voice that had me taking on over and over and over again roles and projects and obligations that I knew I didn't have the time or the bandwidth to actually do. It had me equating my value with a number of things on my plate, and my identity with whatever the definition of success was that I had at the time, a fancier title, a bigger salary, etc., etc. It took me a while to break through that conditioning. And when I did, I came to better understand the power of that tagline. Extraordinary results, less effort, more joy. Do you believe it's possible?